Trade rumors centered around Chicago White Sox starter Garrett Crochet have been starting to heat up here, and who knows if he's going to be dealt. He's still got a lot of control, but he has been dominant with the White Sox this season. He has been one of the few bright spots on a team that has been the worst in Major League Baseball. So we'll break that down and much more on this episode of 3 Up, 3 Down. What's up, everybody? Welcome into this episode of 3 Up, 3 Down. I'm your host, Peter Vryonis. Today we're going to be talking about Garrett Crochet, the star starter for the Chicago White Sox. He was a bullpen arm last year, struggled a lot with control, and we weren't really sure what to expect of him coming into this year as a full-time starting pitcher in that rotation. So he's really answered the bell in that regard. He's been dominant with the Chicago White Sox. But before we get into the video, make sure to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and just give us your comments on the Chicago White Sox situation right now, because I know they're a really bad team and they're last place in one of the worst divisions in baseball, but they have two very attractive assets at this year's trade deadline, maybe the two most attractive assets at this year's deadline in Luis Robert and Garrett Crochet. So let me know your thoughts on that, but let's get into the video. Let's check out his performance from last night. Garrett Crochet just did something I haven't seen in years. 7 innings pitched, 13 strikeouts, 2 hits, 1 earned run. Now you might be thinking, okay, that's not that unbelievable. He only threw 1 off-speed pitch the entire game in his 102 pitches of work. Let's look at the breakdown here. 71 four-seam fastballs, 30 cutters, and 1 changeup. Now, maybe you could classify a cutter as an off-speed pitch or a change of direction type of pitch, but that's pretty much Garrett Crochet saying, here's my fastball, I don't think you can hit it. And he challenged that Seattle Mariners lineup from inning 1 to 7 when he was out there on the bump. And I know the Mariners have not been the most exciting offense in the league, and that's an understatement right there. But Crochet just carving them up like that is very impressive. And I've been so impressed with this guy. I am a fantasy owner of Garrett Crochet, so I've been following him with a very close eye. But he's just been fantastic. And this is why I'm talking about the trade talk. So the Yankees are believed to like Garrett Crochet, according to John Heyman of the New York Post. Now, Heyman does tend to write a lot about the Yankees and about their interest in star players, and it doesn't always come to fruition, but it did this offseason with Juan Soto. In his age 25 season, the Southpaw has a 3.33 ERA across 14 starts with 103 strikeouts to just 17 walks. And I said that the walks were a huge issue for Crochet last season. In 12 innings pitched, he had 13 walks. So that's in 12 and a third innings pitched, he had 13 walks. So that's not a good number, even if you're a bullpen arm. I mean, he just could not limit the base runners, and that's where he was getting in trouble. But you see there, he's only got 17 walks in about 78 innings of work, if I'm not mistaken. So he's really turned it around, and he's become one of the elite starting pitchers in baseball today. He's been so fantastic. And this is another one about his performance from last night. Garrett Crochet was remarkable today, striking out a career-high 13 in 7 innings pitched. Crochet ditched his 4-pitch mix and exclusively used his 4-seam and cutter to eviscerate Mariners batters. He has an outstanding 3.16 ERA and 2.71 FIP in 82 innings pitched, 82 and 2/3 innings pitched. He is an absolute ace. So I undersold him a little bit there. 17 walks in 82 and 2/3 of an innings pitched. So he's really honed in on his control, and Garrett Crochet has become one of the elite starters in baseball. Now, I'm trying to wrap my head around what a package for him could look like, and I saw this screenshot over this. Luis Robert and Garrett Crochet is going to be a really fun package for a contending team at this trade deadline. Now, I don't think it's realistic for you to acquire both of those guys, because Garrett Crochet is a free agent in 2027 and Luis Robert is a free agent also in 2027. So you're getting these guys for at least 3 years if you don't re-sign them. And they're some of the best players in the game today. Luis Robert has really turned his season around after coming back from injury. He's been hitting home runs left, right, and center. Crochet has just been an ace from start from the start, and he might even eclipse 175 innings this year. He's been that good and that dominant for them. So getting those two guys in the same package, I really don't think that's realistic, because that's going to cost you a pretty penny. And if that even is on the table, if you're a contending team, no prospect should be untouchable for those guys. There's no doubt. Let's say, for example, I don't know, the Orioles wanted to get him. I think Jackson Holliday would have to be in that trade to get those two guys. I don't know if the Orioles necessarily need them both, but they would definitely be the odds-on favorite to win the World Series if they went out and acquired him. We know Jackson Holliday maybe isn't quite ready to make that leap to the major leagues yet, and the Orioles are one of the best teams in baseball at this moment of recording. So if they have that offer on the table and the White Sox say, we want Jackson Holliday, I don't know how the Orioles say no. I really don't. And even though Holliday is the top prospect in baseball, and he did struggle coming up early in the season, I still think you got to pull the trigger on that trade if you're the Baltimore Orioles. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments about that trade proposition. Jackson Holliday is the centerpiece, probably a couple more other pieces as well to address the major league team, alongside and getting Luis Robert and Garrett Crochet. I don't think the Orioles say no to that. I don't know how they could say no to that. Now, if you're an Orioles fan and you're watching this video, maybe you're calling me crazy. Maybe you're saying this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. I watch a lot of Orioles baseball. They're a very fun team to watch. But man, if you add Luis Robert into that lineup and Garrett Crochet in that rotation, maybe losing Corbin Burns at the end of the season potentially doesn't hurt as much, because you got yourself an ace in Crochet. And I don't think he's going to regress. I don't think he's going to go back to walking a ton of guys. I think this is what he is. This is what Garrett Crochet is. And what he is one of the elite arms in the game today. It's been so impressive to watch. I'm so excited to have this guy on my fantasy team. I had to make a video about him because even though the White Sox are cellar dwellers, they have two really good players. And two really good players that could fetch them an absolute haul at the deadline. But the other perspective that I see is that, why don't you build around these guys if you're the Chicago White Sox? Is it not an attractive situation to play alongside these two players? And I'm talking about Robert and Garrett Crochet. You still have them for another 3 years. If you can be competitive within the next year or two, maybe you're putting yourself in position to keep them beyond those 3 years. So that's another avenue that the White Sox could take, and I think that's the smarter way to do it, because prospects, even though they're talented and have all the tools to be very good major leaguers, they don't always pan out. These are surefire, all-star caliber players that you have on your roster right now for at least another 3 years. So I don't understand the quickness and the willingness to go out and trade them right away. But let me know your thoughts on that. Let me know your thoughts on the Orioles trade proposal that I gave out there. Jackson Holliday for Robert and Crochet. Let me know on that. Am I crazy? Am I on to something? Let me know in the comment down below. But that'll wrap it up for this video, this episode of 3 Up, 3 Down. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I was your host, Peter Vryonis. But until tomorrow, or until Monday, I should say, enjoy the baseball, folks.